Hey, remember when I bought an Oculus Go late last year and I said it was pretty much the future? Well, never mind all that. This is the future, 100% for sure. The Oculus Quest launched Tuesday last week and I bought the 128 gigabyte version day one. My first few hours with it, mind blowing. Better hardware, better games. It's leaps and bounds above the Go, and it's now one of my favorite gaming consoles, period. Most reviews that compare the two more or less say the same, but most critics just talk about specs. Nobody's really mentioning an elephant in the room. I kind of want to mention it. The one big problem I have with the Quest so far, and that is that the Quest doesn't work in the dark. The Go does. So for those of us who are upgrading from the Go to the Quest, that's a huge, huge factor. So the Quest has cameras, and these cameras need light to track the room and also track the controllers. Without light, it refuses to even let you use it, and this is where the Go has an advantage. You can use the Go in pitch black darkness, which is pretty important for a number of use cases, like what if you're in a situation where you can't use light? Like maybe other people are sleeping in the room and you just want to watch a movie. Maybe you're on a plane and seated in a row where you can't see the floor. There are actually a lot of scenarios where it would be very useful to shut off Guardian and be able to use your Quest with the default positioning, some default positioning, just like the Go. And you might be saying, but the Quest and Go are just different and they're meant for different users. And that's a fair point, but they are both standalone VR goggles made by the same company, and one of them is double the price of the other. So, from the customer's viewpoint, it's reasonable to assume that it should not only do different things, it should do pretty much everything the cheaper one can too. Like if you sold your iPhone XR and then went and bought an iPhone XS, wouldn't you be really confused if you couldn't use the better, more expensive phone like in the dark? Okay, so here I am with the Oculus Quest. Far better gaming experience than the Go. Many ways better than the Rift because it's completely wireless. But at the same time, I still have my Go. Because there's a part of my life where watching movies on an IMAX screen in complete darkness is now a norm. And I know it sounds stupid because I've only been doing that for a few months, but what can I tell you? It's a part of my life now. So why should I have to have both? Especially when I know the Oculus team can make it work in the dark. All they have to do is give us a Guardian off switch. And that's it. Then we can use it in the dark. Now, just to be fair, there is such a switch that's hidden in developer mode, but it is buggy as hell. You can turn it off, but if you go back to your Quest later, it suddenly turns back on for no reason. And once again, it requires light to even get into the main menu. And this is for sure a bug, for sure. Because if you go back to the developer menu, the Guardian switch is still turned off. So to turn Guardian off again, you have to flip the switch on, then immediately turn it off again. So that's clearly a bug. And here's my thought. Why even have a standalone mode for Guardian? What is the point? If I tell you I'm going to sit down and not move, then just shut the whole thing off. One of the most annoying things about the Quest is this new barrier to entry. If I want to just sit down and watch a movie, I still have to do some kind of setup. And the setup, just like room scale Guardian, also requires you to declare the floor level. And most of the time when I'm sitting down about to watch a movie, there's a desk or a coffee table in front of me, or in my case, complete darkness. So more often than not, I've had to manually set the floor by touching the controller to the floor because the Quest thinks my table is the floor. I just told you I'm not going to move. Why do you need me to indicate where the floor is? Why can't you just have a default floor level like the Go? Like some reasonable position and maybe default the controllers at chest level. Just replicate the Go experience when you can't see. So I feel like the Guardian team spent so much time making the room scale Guardian so brilliant and so fantastic, they kind of lost sight of why there's even a need for a standalone Guardian, I think. Like, just have room scale Guardian and no Guardian. For controller tracking, if there's light, then yeah, track the controllers because that's kind of cool. But there's no light, then automatically position the controllers at chest level, like the Go. So coming from the Go to the Quest, it's ridiculous to me that I can't even use the Quest at all if I don't have sufficient light. But so that's my only beef, and really it's more a compliment than beef, because my only complaint is I can't use the Quest all of the time, because when I can use the Quest, it's seriously the best thing ever. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. As an overall VR gaming experience, so far nothing beats it. You'll hear all these critics complain about the graphics aren't good enough, or the controller tracking isn't as good, yada yada, all pedantic hogwash. Like, have you learned nothing from Nintendo? Was Nintendo's graphics or controls ever quite as good as other systems? Is it as good as other systems today? So get this in your head. Fun is the whole thing. The whole package working together as one, not just graphics or controls. The Quest has its faults, clearly, but it's the best VR gaming experience yet. You know how amazing it is to spin 180 degrees to shoot someone behind you, and then continue past 360 degrees to shoot another guy, and not have to think about wires? That anxiety that causes you to tread carefully is completely gone. No more large, complicated headset wires to trip on. That level of immersion is 10 times what it was. You just go where you want and how you want. You know how amazing it is to go to an empty basketball gym or an empty conference room and just pull the Quest out of your backpack and instantly transport to another world? This is like Ready Player One level stuff. If you're interested in VR, I highly recommend the Quest. And if you're an obsessed gamer like me, well, there's no reason why you didn't already buy one. You must already have one.